All right, hello friends. Welcome to CSCI 45. I'm very happy that you are here. And one thing I should say is I don't make my presentations full screen, so they're a little bit smaller than they could be. I'm sorry, but I get much cooler pens this way, and also I'll be switching between programs. It's easier for me. So promise that it's worth it. And then I guess the very first real thing I should say is that you're getting everything you see today, all right? And from now on. So like you're getting all these slides, you're getting all the code that I write, so don't feel like you have to like hurry up and write it down before you continue. It'll be there for you, all right? So hopefully you found some links already on the Canvas page along those lines. So yeah, I guess the first thing I want to do today is just talk a little bit about myself, get that out of the way, so that you know a little bit about me. Please come to office hours, meet me some more. But here's like a crash course in me. Hello, everybody. My name is Lawton Nichols. I use he, him pronouns, and I will respond to whatever you want to call me. Call me Mr. Nichols, call me Dr. Nichols, call me Professor Nichols, whatever you want. But honestly, I'd prefer if you just call me by my first name. Call me Lawton. Throw out these terms. I don't want your fake respect. I want to earn your real respect, right? That's what I say every semester. So yeah, call me by my first name if you would like. I would prefer it. So yeah, there's that. A little bit about my educational background is I went to Fresno State, not too far away, right, for my undergrad, and then I went to UCSB, UC Santa Barbara, for grad school, and I got every degree you could possibly get in computer science. So hopefully that means I can teach you something. We'll find out. And here is my cat. He is much larger now. This was him as a kitten. His name is Lonzo. I named him after Alonzo Church, who was the... If you haven't heard of him, you've probably heard of who he advised. So he was like... He paved the way for Alan Turing. He was the PhD advisor of Alan Turing at Princeton. And so it's just one long line of computer scientists, and I'm a part of it. And you can be too. And yeah, just dedicated my firstborn son to the cause. So yeah. And then finally, just like... You know, we live in these weird, trying times, and I will be here for you, all right? Hopefully you will enjoy this class, and I just want to thank you in advance for putting up with me. We're going to get through it all together, all right? We will weather the storm. So, yeah, what I'm going to go through in this video, there's like two parts to this lecture. There's like real computer science stuff. We'll actually get into things, and then there's like this first part, and so... I'm just going to go as fast as humanly possible so that I stay awake and so do you, okay? So we'll talk a little bit about the class. We'll talk about, like, we'll go over the syllabus, do all that boring stuff, get it out of the way, all right? But I will go very fast. You have to read the syllabus. That's your job, right? So, okay. Let's at least have an exciting couple of slides. Let's talk about the content for a second at least. So, like, what are we going to do in CSCI 45? What is our goal? So we are going to learn how to build a computer, essentially. Like, how do they work deep down at like a lower division E level, like we're in right now. Think about it. We've learned how to program, right? You're all programmers, but you've never really thought about, like, okay, what goes on in the CPU when it's running my stuff? We've talked about, probably you've heard the term, like, oh, there's a stack, there's memory, we're storing data in like a table, something like that. Maybe you've heard those things. Like, you've heard the word address because you know about pointers. Like, where is that all happening? We're going to talk about it finally, right? It's kind of weird that it took this long, but we're going to get to it. That'll be fun, right? And for motivation, I think that you can imagine that, like, this is going to make you a better programmer. Once you learn, like, what's going on, how this thing is ticking that you're using to watch this video, right? You will be able to program better. Right? Once you understand, like, what's going on in your program at the lowest level, at the machine code level, then you'll understand, like, how to optimize things, I think. Okay? That's my motivation for you. Hopefully you buy it. Yeah, so there's that. And so to this end, to the end of learning about, like, how CPUs work, how stuff gets transferred between that and the memory and back and forth, we were going to learn a new kind of programming language. It's called assembly language. We're going to learn a specific kind of assembly language. By the way, there's different flavors of assembly, and it has to do with the processor you're using. All right. So we're going to learn assembly language, and that is the lowest level language that still looks kind of like English. All right. It's ones and zeros after that. It's the language that talks to the CPU. Every single assembly language instruction that we're going to learn in this class is something that the CPU knows how to do. That's the smallest chunk of things that it understands. That's the smallest instruction that it knows how to execute. All right, that's what happens. That's really cool. We're going to learn ARM assembly, specifically 64-bit ARM assembly. This is kind of like a picture of what's going on. So if you have like a phone, for example, any smartphone these days is running whatever iOS, Android OS on top of an ARM processor. All right, it's good for like power savings things. The alternatives, right, are like Intel processors, AMD processors. That's a different flavor. We're not going to learn that kind of assembly. I would say that ARM is probably easier to learn, but honestly, once you learn one, you'll understand the rest. So it's not a big deal. I promise. I'll teach you a little bit of like Intel assembly towards the end of the class. So we have chosen 64-bit ARM assembly, but honestly, you'll be able to read any of them after this, more or less. All right. So that's one part of the class. We're also going to learn, right, how computers work, how to build one, kind of. And then finally, I like to think of this class as like a capstone class. This is meant to be the last computer science class you take before you transfer somewhere, all right? And so in theory, your lower division computer science education should be complete, and you should be able to go anywhere and like make things happen, all right? So that's also part of my goal for this class. We're going to fill in any gaps that you have in your computer science education one way or another. I'm going to force you to figure things out, or I will answer your questions and help you figure things out, all right? One way or another, we're going to get you where you need to be so that you can transfer to a very good school, potentially, and be just as ready as the students who started there as freshmen, okay? So that is my goal for you. It's going to work out, all right? So, okay, let's talk about just kind of the rest of the boring stuff now, all right? Now that we've talked about the class a little bit, we'll get back to the meat of the class soon. But yeah, let's do boring logistical stuff now. So this class is asynchronous. I'm going to record every lecture. I do have a lot of recordings done, but I don't encourage you to watch ahead. Like I have a YouTube channel. You're watching this on my YouTube channel, but I may re-record older things. We'll see if I notice that something needs to change. So I would recommend only watching the videos that I have published on Canvas if you can do it. I guess it won't hurt you to watch ahead, but things may change, all right? I may say things that I didn't want to say this semester. So just keep that in mind if you do watch ahead, okay? So there's that. And because this is asynchronous, there's no set time for the class, I will give you at least a 1-day window to start and take exams. So you're going to get at least 24 hours to take all of the exams in this class, all right? But they will be timed once you start them. They'll be on Canvas. It's like maybe you'll get an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes for a midterm, for example. We'll figure this out later, okay? So that's what's going to happen. You will have time to take it whenever works for your schedule. That's the whole point of you taking an asynchronous class, right? And then also, I am required to take some form of attendance in quotes. So what I'm going to use for attendance is your check-in surveys. So please do those. And if you miss 2 of those in a row, or if you don't do the first one, hopefully you've done the first one already, right? I'm going to drop you from the class, all right? That's how I'm going to check whether or not you're actively participating, all right? So you got to do the check-in surveys. It's also part of your grade, and so it's a very easy part of your grade if you just remember to do them all, okay? Oops, I forgot to say one thing, but due to the magic of video editing, I can put it in right now. So I forgot to add this little bullet. Sorry about that. So you've already read this in my announcement, so you already know it. It's also in the syllabus, but do keep in mind that it is sadly very easy to cheat in computer science these days. You can like be using ChatGPT, especially during an asynchronous class, taking a test without me looking at you. So to make sure we're all on an even playing field and we're not using any nefarious means to gain an advantage in this class, I'm going to force you to record yourself as you take the tests, all right? So I'm going to ask you to install this software. It's called OBS, or some alternative if you get my approval. This is like what the cool streamers use to record themselves. So you're going to record your screen, and you're also going to record your face as you take every test in this class. And you're going to upload, after you submit the test, you're going to upload the recording, all right? So that means you need a webcam, you need a laptop or desktop that is running this software as well. So you need a Windows computer or you need a Mac OS computer, all right? So you can't use like an iPad to take a test. You can't use a Chromebook to take a test. So if you need like a laptop, you can check one out. It's a Windows laptop from the library. They will give one to you for the semester if you need that, all right? So I'm going to just make sure that this is a rule that you understand, all right, up front. This is what's going to happen, and let me know if you have any questions about it, okay? So I think that's what I forgot to say, but you're hearing it now, all right? So on to past me again. So that's that, and I think we're ready to go and just scroll through the syllabus very quickly now, okay? So hopefully you found it. You could have clicked on this, but you got to go to the modules first to unlock the syllabus, right? Hopefully you found that. And so scroll, scroll, scroll. It's also here. There it is. Let's just open it together. Let me know if there's any typos. So, all right, we'll scroll down to where you probably want to go. So let's talk about the grade breakdown. So we've got a few different kinds of assignments: labs, homeworks, check-in surveys. Let's talk about a few of them and at least their percentage points. So all right, I'm going to give you some written homework assignments. You can do them virtually if you want, but they'll be like PDF things that you fill out. So almost paper assignments. That'll be 10% of your grade. All right. 35%, the biggest chunk, is going to be from programming assignments. Those are labs on the class server. I'll call them labs. And you're going to write a lot of code, sometimes C++, usually assembly. Okay, so there's that. And then 5%, small, right, half a letter grade, you will get from your check-in survey. So just every week, I'm going to ask you to psychoanalyze yourself and tell me like what's going well, what you're struggling with. And I think that will help me understand what's going wrong, what's going right as well. And also you. It'll help you just like understand like, okay, what do I need to do to improve? How can I get better? All right? So I think it's a win-win, and it's an easy 5% of your grade. I will also have, kind of, because this is meant to be kind of a capstone level class, I'm going to have you guys do final projects. All right? And we'll talk about that more later. That's going to be another 10% of your grade. You're going to make a final project. You're going to do something cool and make a presentation about it. And that something cool can be anything. It doesn't have to be about assembly or any of the topics of this class, actually. I want you to go and learn something new. All right? And that's going to be what the project is going to be about. And I will talk about that in detail later throughout the semester. All right? We will have 3 exams total. 2 of them are midterms. So for our 2 midterms, I'm going to have them on week 6-ish and 12-ish. That's when they're going to be, all right? And they'll be 15% each, so 30% total coming from midterms. And remember that you'll get like a day to do them, stuff like that. You'll have a window. And yeah, we have 18 weeks of class, so like 6, that's 1/3 of the way for the first midterm, 2/3 of the way through the class for the second midterm, then the final at the end, of course. All right, so final exam is not that much. So I took some points away from that so that you can focus on your project. I think the project is very important, just as important as a final exam. All right, that is my goal for us. All right, I really care about you learning something new and learning how to teach yourself stuff, because we're going to transfer somewhere and you need to know something that you didn't learn at a community college class, and the whole point of the final project is learning how to learn. All right, learn how to teach yourself stuff, because that's what you're going to do on the job. All right, so yeah, that'll be fun, and that's pretty much the grade breakdown. Did I say everything? I think so. Yeah, so that adds up to 100, and yeah, please read the rest. There's that. I will also be giving out extra credit if you would like to join the ACM Club, or at least be part of it. You can go to ACM Club workshops. Hopefully you found there's a Discord for the ACM Club. So in our Discord, hopefully you saw that there is a link to join the ACM Club Discord. Let me know if the link doesn't work. But they have a workshops channel in their Discord. And sometimes it's virtual workshops, sometimes it's an in-person workshop. But anytime you go to one, I will give you half of a point towards your final grade, just for going there and learning something cool, or participating and hanging out with your fellow computer science majors. So yeah, there's that. And I will cap you off at 10% extra credit. I'll give you more than 10% extra credit, but I will cut you off at 10. All right, so there's that. So that's that. And then finally, the date of the final exam. So many important dates. Most of these are holidays. But the final exam, because we don't have a set time for the class, there's no scheduled final exam. So here I am scheduling it. All right. So I'm going to make the final exam available for at least a 24-hour period from the Monday through the Tuesday of finals week. So some 24-hour range between Monday and Tuesday of finals week. We're just going to knock it out and get it done. That's the 8th to the 9th of December. All right, so a long ways away from now, but be thinking about that. The Monday and Tuesday finals week. All right, so yeah, I think that's most of the syllabus. Please read the rest. Important stuff that I just can't get to all, and it would just take me too long to read it all off. All right, so Also, I will drop some things. I'll drop your lowest 2 labs and your lowest 1 homework assignment. So if like you had a bad week, it's like it never happened. Do redo the assignments though, because like I'll be testing you on them, but I will be a little lenient there. All right, so you're welcome. And then finally, something, if you've never taken a class with me, this is something that may catch you by surprise, so I want to just like say it up front so that you're aware. Every assignment in this class, except for the check-in surveys, which are going to be due at like 5:30 on Fridays, every single assignment in this class other than that is going to be due at 5 p.m. All right? And I have a reason for that. You've taken enough computer science classes to know that there are technical issues that arise right around the due date, because that's when a lot of people turn things in. Yes? So this just makes sure that I am awake when somebody, one of you, tries to turn something in and you're getting some errors. I'll even have office hours on Fridays around this time. So just to make sure everything's working out. Okay? So I'll be awake, I will be present and able to help. Okay? So that's why I have my due dates then. Though I do make some exceptions. All right, I do give some students extra time, and please let me know if you qualify for this extra time. So if you work at least 20 hours a week, so at least half time at a real job, right? School does not count. It's your fault if you're taking 20 units. Some of us do have to work at least 20 hours a week, all right? So if that's you, then I'll give you an extra 7 hours. Your due date will become midnight for your assignments, not for exams, just assignments. That's all I'm talking about, all right? So let me know if that applies to you. And then if you work full-time, at least full-time, so 40 hours or more per week, or you do something that is the equivalent of a full-time job, like you care for a child, something like that, all right? Let me know, and I will give you an extra 15 hours on all of your assignments. So I think that makes them do it like 8 a.m. the next day. So you can either stay up late or wake up early, whatever works for your schedule, and get it done. And I hope we can all agree that the people that fall into these categories deserve that extra time, okay? So let me know if either of those apply to you, and just keep in mind they're for assignments, not for exams. Exams, we're all taking them between the same window of time, all right? No leniency there. But for assignments, I do that. And then also, I like to allow late submissions, because I want you to do an assignment if you don't do it, all right? I want you to have some incentive to do that assignment still, because it's useful. So here is my promise to you. I will accept late labs and check-in surveys, not homeworks because that takes time to grade, but labs and check-in surveys. I will accept those up to the last day of instruction, and I should probably say what day that really is. So the last day of instruction is the Friday before finals week, right? The Friday before finals week starts. All right, so just keep that in mind. That's when that is. Instruction is not finals week. Instruction is the last day that you could have a real class on, okay? So that's when I will accept things. You're welcome. But I'm going to take a chunk of your grade off the second something is late. I'm going to take half of your credit away, all right? But 50% is much better than 0%, right? So if you complete an assignment late, you're only going to get half credit, but oh man, that's much better than a 0, all right? So please do it. I highly encourage it, and that is my late assignment submissions. I'm not going to accept late homeworks because that's a lot of me reading your writing, and I don't want to deal with that, right? Especially right as I'm trying to make a final. So there's that. So that's late submission policy. Again, just read the syllabus. There's more to be said there. And yeah, now let's go to the textbooks. So we got 2 textbooks, my friends. We've got one that's like required because it's free. Here's a link to it. There's plenty of links to it also here. But it's called Dive Into Systems, and this is like going to be our main textbook. All right, so it's going to teach us not so much assembly. There is like a chapter on assembly. If you want to read the chapter on assembly, it's this one. This is the one we care about. It's ARM assembly. All right, there's other assemblies. x86 is the Intel kind of assembly. We don't care about that for this class. All right, I'll show it to you towards the end though. But the rest of this book is like how to build a computer, how computers work deep down. So please read through this book. It's wonderful. It's online. It's free. You cannot. There's no excuse, right? It's wonderful. So where's the table? I guess this is the table of contents on the left here. So yeah, go read through this book, and I will start assigning reading from it. But it's wonderful. We'll use it to talk about like how to build a computer, how it's organized, how to design one. There is a chapter on assembly, but I won't like force you to read it. I'm gonna teach you assembly myself, more or less. All right, but it won't hurt you to read this chapter like right now. Go read chapter 9 if you want to. Okay, so that's our like main textbook, and here I am assigning you reading. So please go through chapters 0, 1, and 2. Some of these you're already gonna know. All right, it's like introduction. You don't have to read it that closely. All right, so I say at least skim these chapters, please. 0, 1, and 2. It will only help you if you read them fully, though. All right, so just get the general ideas. Do read as closely as you like, though. There's no real due date for these assigned readings. I'm just trying to keep you up to speed as to what I'm doing in class with my lectures. So like, take a couple weeks, take your time to go through these, try to understand them. All right. The important things that I care about, like picking up, is we're going to learn a new language. Also, in addition to C, C++, and assembly, we're also going to learn the C language, which is more or less C++ all over again. That's why I didn't say it before. But there are some decent differences, and I'll point those out. But we're going to learn the more basic language, the C language, and that is what gave birth to C++, by the way. C came before C++. So you're going to learn like how it all started. All right, so that's another thing, and that's what I'm going to care about you learning at the start. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to quiz you on the readings, but it will only help you to do them. All right, so there's that. There's also another optional textbook. I can't force you to get this one because I promised that there is no textbook cost, but this is something that you could buy if you wanted to. All right, here's an Amazon link. Though it could be free depending where you go. All right, some schools, this is a Springer Link textbook. If you go to this website at a school, like on the Wi-Fi of Fresno State, for example, if you go here to this website, to this webpage, at a school that subscribes to Springer Link, there will be a download this book for free button. All right, so try to do that. All right, this is wonderful, and this book can only help. All right, so use it as a resource if you can get it. You can probably get it for free if you go to like Fresno State or whatever university is near you. If you're not in Fresno, use their Wi-Fi, and they probably have a subscription, and this you can get it for free. All right, so there's that one, and this will help you learn the assembly language portion. It will only help you, and I'm not going to assign reading from it because it's optional, but like if you can just like get this book and read through it as fast as humanly possible, you're going to do very well in this class. All right, this is the best book I've found for 64-bit ARM assembly language, because there's a bunch of different flavors. This one is not the world's most popular one, but I think it's a good teaching one. Okay, so yeah, it shouldn't take you too long to read. I highly encourage it. There's also some like tutorials on 64-bit ARM assembly if you want to look at those instead. But yeah, if you can get this book somehow, get your hands on it, I encourage it. So yeah, those are your textbooks, and yeah, let's keep going. We're almost to the actual lecture. I promise we're almost there. All right, so let's get through a few more slides, then we can actually learn assembly language and computer science, etc., how computers are built. So okay, expectation-wise, this is not the world's easiest class. All right, every major level class is difficult, but I promise that I'll be here for you, and I know that you can succeed if you put the work in. All right, so do remember, this is supposed to be like the last computer science class you take before you transfer, so you're going to be using everything you've learned. All right, you may have to remember some stuff that you forgot. All right, but that's the point. We're going to get there, and you're going to be nice and fresh for when you transfer to somewhere. Okay, so also why I'm giving you a final project, and like you need to know the old stuff to understand the new stuff. That's just a fact of life. So it's going to be a lot to keep in your mind or to remember, but I think it's worth it. I think this is a very fun class. All right, I like teaching it. So also remember the units rule. This is a 4-unit class, so what that's supposed to mean is like you spend 4 hours listening to me talk, or like during lab time, if there is a lab time, if this were like an in-person class, and then you're supposed to spend double that amount outside of class, doing assignments, working on things, studying for stuff, studying for exams, just going over the textbook, stuff like that, just general studying. So remember that that's a thing. That's why like 12 units is a full-time load. That's what that means. Okay, so you will get close to the 8 hours most weeks in this class. I just want you to keep that in mind, so just so that you know what you're in for. The first week's 8 hours is going to be your reading. All right, so I want you to read as much as humanly possible. Go through these tutorials, get this book, start reading it, go through these chapters. So it's just like getting situated in terms of the books is going to be your first week's 8 hours worth of stuff outside of class. So keep that in mind. Please start early. And yeah, I don't want to scare you away. I just want to make sure you know what you're in for. It's going to be like this no matter what CSCI 45 class you take. So like, I just want to make sure you know what you're getting into, and also tell you that I'm here to help. All right, I'm happy to help. I've got office hours. Please come to them. Ask me questions on Discord, and I'll also give you some days just like to do work, because like I want you to work on your projects, and I will dedicate some class time for that. I promise. All right. We also have a technology loan program at the school. So like if you need something that will make you a better student, if you need like a laptop, if you have a slow one, the library will check one out to you for the semester. Go do that. If your internet connection at home is spotty, you need to watch these videos, right? Go to the library. They will check out hotspot routers to you for the semester. Isn't that great? So if you need any of that, please take a look at that resources page on our Canvas. All right? Highly encourage you to take advantage of this if you need it. And I can help you get in contact if you need any help with that. All right, there's also office hours, so I want to help you too, right? So there's office hours. There's also the tutorial center. Please go to that. If you have not heard of it yet, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that our campus gives us. But here is my office hour schedule. This is at least when I want to have it. This may change, right? So just like come back to this page, these green boxes. This is when I plan on having office hours. These may get shifted around as like I have like meetings given to me, forced to go to. So who knows what's going to happen, but this is when I want to have them at least. All right, so just come to this page, confirm that it's within the office hours time, and then you can click this link on Zoom to come to them, or this link on Zoom to come to them. Every office hours has a Zoom option. Some of my office hours, if you live in Fresno and you want to come in person, you are welcome. These 3 will also be in my office. So yeah, that's when my office hours are. Also take advantage of the tutorial center. All right, so search for that word, Clovis Community College Tutorial Center, if you've not heard of it. It is wonderful. There are student tutors there to help you during many more hours of the day than I'm available. All right, so use us both. It's wonderful. So there's that. And then also there's Discord. So I've given you a Discord link. I like to use Discord to talk to you and for you to talk to me. All right, so I've given you an invite link. Let me open up Discord. Might have to update, but yeah, there's like a million updates. So like while it's thinking about that, let me kind of explain. So my email is disgusting. All right, please ask me questions on Discord if you can. That will be wonderful for me. I can see very easily like, oh, I haven't responded to something. It's great. All right, so here's how our Discord works. You're gonna click the link to join it, and then you'll only have like this welcome channel and the guide channel available once you join. So once you get here, you gotta scroll up to the tippy top. You'll click the 100 emoji to add the student role. You will click the owl emoji to join the CSCI 45 channels and stuff. That will unlock these things. So the student role unlocks like the general channel, and then the CSCI 45 channel is unlocked when you click the owl, and then you can add your pronouns. And here's the ACM Club's Discord in their workshops channel. That's where they'll post like the workshop opportunities that you can go to for extra credit. So yeah, all of those things available for you. And so right here is where I want you to like post publicly to your peers about like your questions, anything that you want to say. That's our CSCI 45 stuff. There's also general and random that you guys can use to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And sometimes I'll use this announcements channel to tell you stuff. But like CSCI 45 is kind of where you wanna live this semester. And please use that CSCI 45 channel to publicly ask questions so that your peers can also help get you some answers when it's like 3 a.m. and I'm asleep. All right. What I want you to do though is use your judgment. I do not want you to be sharing a bunch of answers, like an entire like 50 lines of code, even like 20 lines of code. Like use your judgment. If it's short snippets, like that's okay. Post a screenshot, ask what's going wrong. But if it's more than just like some short snippets, you should probably be asking me a private question or going to like the tutorial center or coming to office hours. All right. So don't share a bunch of things publicly because that people don't learn that way. All right. I don't want you to give things away. I want people to think. So there's that. And you can always ask me stuff though. All right, so you click on me, you can like right click on me. There's like a message option. I can't message myself, but that's how that can work. So you can send me a private message if you want to share a bunch of code. If that's the only way to ask your question, all right? But when you can word your question in a way that doesn't give too much away, I highly encourage you to use our public channel for that, because surely your peers have the same question a lot of the time. So there's that. And yeah, please, if you can, highly encourage you to use Discord, like even to message me privately. All right. So don't email me, don't give me Canvas messages if you can help it. That would be a much easier way for me to contact you. I can easily see like when I have not responded. Like it'll appear on the left side here. With an email or a Canvas message, like maybe I'll click it and I'm in class and I forget to respond later. So with Discord, I don't have that excuse. All right, so please use Discord to contact me. We're getting there, guys. We're so close. We can actually learn about computer science soon. All right, here's a game plan for us, all right, because you've taken plenty of computer science classes by now. You know that you get stuck, all right? Sometimes you just hit a wall and you're not sure where to go. I would like you to ask for help rather than staring at your screen for 2 hours like I did when I was an undergraduate because I was shy, all right? I don't want you to be like me, please. So let's set a time range, all right? Let's say that if you've been stuck for like half an hour on something, 30 minutes, all right? So set that timer when it goes off on a problem and you've been stuck for 30 minutes, you have not made any progress at all, that's when I want you to get up, ask for help, all right? Send a public message on Discord, send a private message on Discord, come to office hours, go to the tutorial center, do something after those 30 minutes, all right? Don't just stare at your screen, all right? Because like I'm getting paid, right, to help you get on to the next thing. So are the tutors at the tutorial center. We're all here to help, all right? Your peers want you to succeed, I want you to succeed. It's all gonna work out, all right? So yeah, after 30 minutes, if you're stuck, you gotta get help, all right? Highly recommend. So, though, as you know, as a computer science student, you are going to get stuck for a shorter amount of time and then have a flash of genius and be like, oh yes, 29 minutes and 59 seconds later, I see what needs to be done. That is expected. That's exactly how learning works, all right? Especially in computer science. So you've experienced that already, but like this is your deadline. 30 minutes have elapsed, you don't know what to do, then you move on, all right? Okay, the final thing I want to say before I end this video, this boring video, to get on to the cooler video, let's talk about the class website. All right, so I've made you a few accounts, actually. I've made you a class website account. I've also made you a class server account. We'll talk about that later. But I have this class website. It's www.lottensclass.com. If you go there, I've made you all accounts. All right, so what you're going to see is a login screen the very first time you go there. Here is what your account is right now. All right. So your account is, your username is your last name, no spaces, no hyphens, no accent marks, all underscore, or sorry, all lowercase, excuse me, all lowercase, and then an underscore, and then you put your student ID. All right, so like if this is your last name, this is your student ID, this becomes your username. If this is your last name and this is your student ID, this becomes your username. Do you see how like you're gonna get rid of spaces, accents, hyphens, and stuff? So that's your username and also your password. All right. So your username and your password right now are both of these things, however it is, and just yell at me if you're not able to get in, okay? So I've got this account for you, and then also I've got you an account on the class server. That's like the terminal. Those are not linked, but you have the same like default usernames and passwords right now. So just keep that in mind. So like I have a test account. I can log in as that, and this is what you'll see, all right? So like attendance doesn't really matter for this class, but auto-graded grades. This is the one link that you're going to be looking at. So you can click this and you can see wonderful grades of things. All right. So this is kind of where you're going to go after you submit one of your assignments. So yeah, just let me know if you're having trouble getting on that. But that is our class website. That is going to be a place where you go to see in a pretty way like what your grades are for your lab assignment. So that's very important to get on there and understand how to use it. So yeah, change your password away from the default if you can. And I think that's all that I wanted to say. We've gone over now all of like the welcome stuff, all of the logistical boring stuff. We did it. All right. So now you don't get to be bored anymore. Now it's time for the real part of the lecture that I've split into a separate video. And so I think that's all I want to say for this one. So I'll see you in the next one.